the recording too. So this is on the recording. So this is the wrap for creating it for the legs up the wall. So you've got the short end that you're holding onto, you have the longest vertical end dangling down, and you're just going to fold your blanket in half. Beautiful. And then you're going to fold it in half again. And then you got to kind of lift it up really high just to get it so it goes. And then one more time, folding it in half. So now what we have is we have an accordion fold of a blanket. And then this is, now I've folded it in half. So now I have this beautiful accordion fold of a blanket. And what you're going to do is just set that off to the side when we go to do it. And I'm going to show you how to go into legs up the wall with it. Okay, so that when you're ready to go, you can just go up into it. And if you want to try it with me right now, just to feel it, feel free. So remember, when we do legs up the wall, we find one side of the mat to sit up very close to, with our buttocks really close to the wall. And we're going to lean back first. And then we turn, put the legs up. That'll keep our hips as close as we can to the wall. Then you're going to take your blanket, the accordion fold blanket, you're going to bend the knees and you're going to wrap that around your feet. Okay, so I have it even. So one isn't longer than the other. And then once you have that, you're going to take the blanket and you're going to cross the right side of the blanket over the front of your legs over to the left, and then cross the left side of the blanket over to the right side of your legs. Bend the knees. So you might watch first. Bend the knees, wrap the blanket around the back of your thighs, and then you're going to grab the ends of the blanket in between your legs and hold them as you slowly start to lengthen your legs. And then your inner thighs will grab the end of the blanket. This is called a leg swaddle. So we did the legs wrapped with a strap. Now we're swaddling the legs. And this could be a place that you might come to at a certain point of your practice when you've kind of felt like you've kind of done and you just want to rest. It can also be with your legs up on a chair. You can put some weight on the body. You can put a scarf across the eyes. Okay, getting into the ocular nerves that come off all of our eyes, into tapping into the cranial nerves. So just checking in. Okay, this feels good. I understand how to do it. Okay, so at any time, you can put yourself in legs up the wall or legs on a chair or something else. Okay, so I've just got my blanket that I have folded like that, and I'm just going to put it off to the side now. And so the reason why I'm showing you this now is sometimes as I start to get into going into inversions, my mind gets quieter, and I just want to make sure that I am setting you up for success for your practice so that you can honor yourself and go into what you need when you're ready. So you have a bolster. I also have a blanket that I've folded, same way that we folded the other one with the short end, but I've only folded it one time in half. Okay, then I've done a lengthwise fold. And then one more time, I folded it in half. And so it looks like this now. And so this can be what you can use to put under your shoulders and your torso when you go into shoulder stance. And some of you might need two, I'm only going to use one. I usually don't use a whole lot. I usually double up my mat rather than using a blanket, but I will demonstrate with one blanket today. So you're just going to have that pre-folded. I am, you'll see when I go through things, I'm really kind of a stickler for having kind of smoothness and lining up your edges of your blanket. So really making sure that your base camp is set up in a way that it's going to support you. Okay, so now that we have our whole area set up, and I'm just going to spotlight myself and put everyone on a gallery view so I can see you. We're going to start seated. So I've got a bolster, I've got a block, I've got my strap, which is already looped. My two chairs are off to the side. And I want you just to find a seated position for a moment. Just going to do a little opening of the chest and the torso. So take a moment to lower your eyes or close them. Invite in a few pursed lip breaths. In the nose, pursing the lips, out the mouth. Doing that a few more times, inviting in the breath. Allow the body to widen. Exhale, pursing the lips, blowing them out the mouth. Starting to bring in our parasympathetic nervous system. And just feel, do I need that one or two more times? Do I need to release out maybe a cleansing breath and maybe a sigh? Oh. Feel your body. Feel the connection of your pelvis, the ischial tuberosity, those sit bones pressing into the floor. I'm sitting on a little bit of height. Remember, if your legs need to be straight, they can. If one of your legs is saying, I need to extend, then you just allow one leg to extend. So we're going to take a few moments just to settle here, and then notice that at any time throughout this practice, you can stop, you can pause. You have ownership of how far you want to go. Remember, watching is learning. Anytime you just want to lie down or go into legs up the wall or do the swaddle or legs on a chair or a couch, and just listen. Okay, so there's an act of watching, but there's also an act of listening. And then know that the recording will be there to watch at a later time, and you do as much as it feels comfortable for you. So I just want you to come in to feel your diaphragmatic breath. Just take a moment to tap into your breath. If it doesn't feel supportive in your spine to sit away from the wall, then just move back to the wall. Allow the wall to support you. Arrive here as you tune into your body. Feeling your body in space. So always when we explore inversions or life in general, we always want to notice, how am I orientating my body in space in relationship to gravity, proprioception? And then how do I feel inside my body? interoception. Allowing our senses to be aware and open and awake, and guiding us to feeling our body in space. And also noticing that inner sensation and coming to a place of embodiment. So, embodiment, one of my teachers, she always describes it to me as when your body, your mind, and your breath and your spirit all intertwine together and meet in one place. You feel presently aware right here, right now. I'm going to offer a few shoulder rolls. So just letting the arms come down. We're just going to inhale, draw the shoulders up, roll them back and down. Just do that a couple times. You might bring in a little release out of the mouth, or a sigh or a sound. Do that a couple times and then reverse the direction going the other way. And I'm going to give two options for a seated cat-cow. So if you're feeling, I like just having my hands on my thighs and feeling that I do cat-cow here with the palms down. You can exhale, you can start to lead with the pelvis, let the hands slide towards your legs. Even your fingers might wrap over the knees, and then your back presses back and your head releases down. And then you lead with the pelvis a little bit more into an anterior tilt. Let the spine follow your hands, slide back towards your hip, letting the chest open, shoulders draw it down, little opening through the throat, gaze slightly coming up. Inhalation, exhalation, hands slide towards your legs. Posterior tilt back, slowly ripples back into this flexion as your hands slide towards your hips. There's the inhalation, and the pelvis is rolling anteriorly. Gentle curve through the front of the spine. You feel your shoulder blades squeezing on that inhalation, and as you exhale and the hands come towards your legs, your fingers even wrapping over the knees, you might find that protraction, that space in between the shoulder blades. You might flow through here a couple times. Other option is to take your arms up, interlace them, and so you have a very gentle weave. You don't have to be very tight with the fingers. Just let the fingers become a little bit more spacious, pressing the hands and the skull evenly into each other. And then you're going to feel an exhalation, posterior tilt rolling down, inner elbows coming towards one another. And then as you inhale, you're going to feel an anterior tilt opening up, arms open up, letting the head really support yourself in the hammock of the hand. And exhale, rounding forward. So just allowing ourselves to get into our chest, our shoulders, just creating a little bit of warming up with the upper body here, the spine. And just a couple more rounds. And whenever that feels complete, just pausing, releasing the arms, releasing the legs, shaking them out. Okay, we're gonna go down and swing our legs around, finding ourselves coming down onto our hands and knees. Okay, just feeling the hands nice and wide, supporting the shoulders. If that's not feeling good, remember your forearms can be on the floor. You can also, different variation here, take the bolster. and be a little bit more upright, bringing the floor up to us. We're going to go into thread the needle. Okay, I'm going to show two variations here. So you can start with whatever arm you want. I'm going to start with mine closest to the camera, which is my left. So you're going to feel as you inhale, letting the palm open up, the chest open up, maybe the gaze follows. Exhale, sliding it through. Okay, so you're just going to come down part way. And then inhale, reaching up. If that's not feeling good on your shoulder, you can put your hand on your lower back, opening up through the chest and the shoulder here, and then weaving through underneath. And if you've got the bolster like I have, when you come down your third time, your head's going to turn and you can rest your head and your shoulder can just be in front of the bolster. You can rest here. Some of you are going to come right down onto the floor. Pausing here for a moment. The hand, the arm that is under the shoulder can extend up to the top of your mat. You can also put it on your lower back if you want, palm up. Just creating some space in the torso, warming up a little bit more. And just getting into this feeling of our soft inversion here. When you're ready, you're going to come up and then back down, press the hand into the floor. Coming up again, onto the hands and knees or the elbows and knees, and then you're going to do the other side. So you're going to inhale, reaching up the arm, letting the chest open. Exhale, weaving through. Palm up. And doing that a couple more times. Noticing, does it feel better to have a bolster underneath the head, hand on the lower back? Allowing the arm, the hand, maybe to extend up to the top of your mat, or to come on the lower back, and then leaning that bottom arm into the floor, just opening up here. Finding your breath. Beautiful. I'm just coming out just to watch you. Good. When you're ready, after a few more breaths, just flowing through that, and you're going to come back up and we're going to go through one of the moves from the tensegrity repair series that I find is really helpful just to get the spine moving, to find that deep front line connection. And it is the wave pose. And so you have the tops of the feet on the mat. You can have your legs together. You can sometimes go, oh, I want to put a little bit of lock in between the thighs. Spread the hands. If you've never seen the wave, you can just watch for a moment. So you just let the back blossom up into a flexion, just coming down partway. Spreading the hands. So we talked about that importance of the index and the thumb connecting into our radius bone. And then you're going to round up. So you're going to unfurl the spine. And first off, you're just going to come into plank with the knees on the floor, pressing the floor away. Okay, and then start with the pelvis moving back, letting the pelvis move back, the lower back, the back rounding. And then check in, did I need to adjust my hands a little bit farther forward or back? Rounding up, unfurling into plank. Just try that a couple times. Moving back with the pelvis, going back into flexion. And then when you're ready, coming into plank. And once you find plank, reaching out the crown of the head, widening the sit bones, lifting up through the pubic bone, you're going to let the pelvis just start to lift up. It will lower slightly, but it's not dropping. You're still feeling nice and integral, and you're going to open up through the front of the belly, pressing the hands into the floor, opening the chest, widening the shoulder blades, drawing the shoulders down to the bottom of the socket. Breathe here. And then leading from the pelvis, rounding through the spine, coming back into modified child's pose, and then unfurling into plank, and then coming into a modified upward dog. Reaching your heels back, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. So we're just doing this a couple times just to warm up the body a little bit more, just getting into our deep front core line. Nice. And when you're ready, you do as many as you want, and then you pause in child's pose. Good, just watching over you. Good, Jenny. Wondering if some of you might want to bring your hands a little bit farther forward in front of your shoulders. Yeah, good. When you're ready, you're going to pause in child's pose. Just feel the forehead either resting on the floor, or I can take off my glasses for this one. Or you might roll the head from side to side. If you need to do a little bit of a lateral stretch, feel free. Sometimes the arms feel comfortable being by your side with the palms up. Okay, and then you're gonna judge here as you go if your arms are going to one side, you're coming through center, and then to the other. And we're gonna feel in a moment, if you want, or you can just watch, what does it feel like to roll up onto the top of the head on the floor? And for some of us, this might be what the extent of our headstands practice is. And some of us might want to tuck the toes under. You can put your hands in front of the knees, the anchoring underneath your shoulders here, and widen the hands. And then bring the forehead down. I'm going to speak a little bit louder just so my microphone picks it up. And you're going to exhale as you roll to the hairline. Some of you might roll a little bit more onto the top of the head. And then you can roll back as you inhale. And then notice, does that feel okay with the tops of my feet? Maybe you can press the top of the feet instead of the toes tucking under. You're just going to roll as you exhale up as low or high as you want onto the top of the head. You can also, as a variation, once you feel a little bit more comfortable, allow the arms to be by your side, forearms, elbows heavy, palms up. And as you roll up onto the crown of the head, you just slide your elbows and your forearms towards your skull. You think of heavy elbow, heavy forearm. Sometimes even crossing the arms so that they're under the body. So you're in like a little basket arm and they're pushing on your thighs. Gives a little bit more of a release and support with the forearms down. And then you just pause in child's pose when you're ready. Take a few breaths to pause there. Yeah, good. Now, one of the things when you're ready, you're going to come up and you're going to grab your strap. And one of the things that we want to check in as we're building strength, so this is a little strength building sequence. Remember, your tail of the strap is hanging down and your arms are into the strap. The strap is just up above the elbow, about an inch to an inch and a half. You check in as you lean into it, feeling, yep, that feels supportive. I feel like I can have a broad collarbone and I feel okay here. When we're going down, we're just going to do a very modified here. When we're coming down, we want to gauge what's the distance of my arms. Do I have it correct? So you can take a very soft fist and you can bring your fist down and you should your knuckles should be just able to skim the inside of your elbow. And this is a nice broad space for your arm. So if you're really tight, you might need to open your strap a little bit. If you can't just brush on the inside, maybe you've gone too far. One of the things is sometimes when we go into this, we are going to keep our head off the floor. But when we interlace going into headstands, which we're not going to do, but I just want to talk about it, sometimes we curl the fingers under. And so one of the things that is helpful to add stability to this ulnar side and get into your rotator cuff muscles is when you interlace your finger to extend your pinkies. See that? I've just got a really soft interlace and I'm extending my pinkies on the floor. Okay, so when you put your hand down, you can see how my palm of my hand is open and I'm pressing when I'm ready into the floor. So I want you to find this arm position, leaning out into the strap. And then if you want to try it without the strap, you can, but just want to get the serratus anterior muscle engaged here, feeling this widening. So you really want to find that elbow, the forearm, the pinky side of your hand leaning into the floor, leaning out into the strap. Let your head go. To start off, we have our knees underneath our hips. And we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to take the whole torso and the head and shifting it forward. So your gaze and your face starts to go over your palm of your hand and over the fingers. And then you're going to inhale, exhale back. You're going to do this a couple times. Inhale, exhale, feel the whole torso, head shifting forward, gathering the ribs, lifting up through the pubic bone, keeping the sit bones wide. And this is a strength exercise as we feel the inner and outer elbows. And then some of you might feel, how does that feel if I didn't have the strap? And I want you to interlace your fingers the other way. Check your distance. Find that flat back to start. So gathering those ribs in. And try not to look forward with the head. I want you to keep the back of the neck long and just try that again without the strap. Exhaling forward, inhaling back. Let your pinkies be extended on the floor, pressing into that pinky wrist side of the forearm, all the way up to the inner and outer elbow condyles. And you can pause here and rest. And some of you might just repeat that in a moment. Some of you might go, oh, I can push down and rise up into dolphin, letting your head be suspended from the pressing into the floor. So your head is off the floor. So you really got to press down. And then you can go forward, exhale, and back with the torso. And bringing the shoulders back, stacking over the elbows and then forward. This is a strengthening move. So normally this is a way to test. Do I feel strong enough to go up into, if we were going to go up, some of us might go up into a full headstand, that you should be able to do 6 to 7 to 8 of those and feel that you have the strength in your body to go into that practice. So just take your time to pause for a moment. So where we are right now, this is where you can judge in yourself and feel, I feel like I'm done. This is where, as far as I want to be. Those of you that do want to try to feel headstands, we're going to go into our 2-chair variation. So what I've done is I've pushed my mat right to a wall. And then I'm going to gather my 2 chairs. So I have the leg of the chair really close to the wall. They're right on the mat, so it's not sliding around. Back of the chair. Okay, there's the center of the chair that I'm going to be using to put my shoulders on. And so I'm lining this up. And now roughly, there's about a foot distance in between the legs. Some of you might need a little bit less, some of you might need a little bit more. But what you're thinking about when you go into this is the top of the shoulders should be resting on the chair. I'm also going to demonstrate it with the feet up in a moment. So you might just watch for a moment. I'm going to go a little bit closer. You want to make sure that your head fits in here. So you might come down onto your knees first. Let your head come in and feel, okay, got my shoulders on. My chair has these beautiful armrests here that I can press my hand into. Some of you might do the legs. Some of you might do the kind of supports on the legs. Some of you might use the base of the chair. And some of you might not even go up. Okay, so as I'm going to hold the legs of the chair. So I'm just widening my legs so you can see I'm holding the two legs that are closest. And I'm just repositioning my shoulders so I feel the top of my shoulders on the chair. And then just let your head dangle. Then I'm holding the chair with my hands. And then this might be as far as you go. Hey, you might try, I feel like I want to try to kick up. So maybe you use one leg, okay, and then you kick up. And as you kick up, you push down into the chest. And you might be here with the knees bent. Some of you might go into extending. Then the head is quite free here. It's really nice for the neck. We want to be reaching up through the heels and the toes and the heels and the toes. And just for timing, I'm not going to stay here for too long. When you come down, just pause. I don't want you to pop up too quick. Just want you to rest here. Let the body equalize. Okay, and then you come up. So just remember that you got to press down into the chair. You got to take some time to get your shoulders up on top of the chair so you feel comfortable, and make sure that the chairs are close enough together. And I know, Erin, you have, so I'm just going to let you go into it as I support you. And Erin, you have your feet up, right? Yeah, beautiful. Okay. And do you use your feet up often?
Not as often as I should, but I have been using it again.
Awesome. Yeah. So they're really great. And so this is the feet up. Okay, you can see it's got a nice support, a nice kind of firm foamy. And so this is another option here. So you want to have that close to the wall. So I'm just going to check in to see who's going upside down with their chairs. Does anyone want me? I want to walk you through it. And I'm just checking in, Jenny. Okay. And you've got some blocks on yours, right? On your folding chairs. And are you using a wall behind you, or do you feel safe enough being in the middle of the room? I know you're muted, so I can't really hear you, but you're more than welcome to unmute yourself just so I can know.
I don't really have, a
A
wall for
wall?
this. I'm worried about the window, but I have a couch
Yeah.
right behind me as, if I have to tuck and roll.
Okay, okay, tuck and roll. Okay, great. So yeah, so okay. I just wanted to make sure before you went up into it because I was like, okay, okay. So I'm glad that we checked in. So those of you that are going to go into it, you're going to stand up and you're going to fold forward and you're going to put your head in between the seat of your chair. And Erin, yeah, you can even come, Erin, yeah, you can come from a standing or you can come from a kneeling position. Good. You're really good in that. So try to once you're there, to see if you can move your head a little bit. Do you feel comfortable? Or your shoulders? Are you right on the top of your shoulders? Yeah, great. Now you got to find a place for your hands to start to press into. So Erin, you've got a really nice placement with your hands pressing into the top of your feet up. And so Jenny, just looking at where you are with your hands. Yeah. And so as you root down, then you can start to feel one leg or both legs start to come up. Yeah, good. And as you press down into the shoulders and root down into the hands, you can slowly start to come up. Erin, that looks really good. And you might not even come that high off the floor. There it is. There it is. Yes, Jenny, you got it. Good. Now just stay in that tuck position. Gather in. Find your core. Okay, keep pressing down and notice maybe one leg, maybe both legs want to come up. Maybe you just want to stay in your tuck position. Good. Now just rest, Erin, in just like a little fold. Just come down a tiny bit. There you go. Good, Erin. Nice. Okay, Jenny, yeah, stay where you are. When your legs start to come up, feel as if you have a block in between your thighs and you're pulling that block up. Reach up through your heels. Yeah, you got it. Good. The more that you can reach up through your heels and gather your inner thighs and find that deep front line. Good, Inka. I can see your leg coming up. Good. Now pause as you come out. Just come down onto your knees. Rest there. Inka, how you doing? I can see your legs going up. If your camera tilts down a tiny bit and you take your blur option off your background, I can see you a little bit better. Do you know how to do that? If you go onto your video, it says blur my background. And if you take that off, so you see that little video icon on the bottom, and then it will say blur my background and just say,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. And then take it, just unclick it. There you go. That's much better. Now I can actually see you.
I'm trying to kick up with one leg, but it's not working. Can you?
Okay, yeah, I'll see what you're doing. Now I can actually see you. Whereas before it was harder for me to see you because you were quite blurred out. Good. Now just pause there. I want you to find your exhale, rooting down through the shoulder blades. Good. Now you've got to press your shoulders into the chair and press your hands down towards the floor while you're holding the chair. It's going to give you a little bit of a rebound and then lifting one leg up. Yeah. And then you're going to, there it is. There it is. Press down, press down. Yay, you got it. Good job. Excellent work. Now start to squeeze the legs together. Reach up through the heels. Reach up through the heels. Your legs are going to start to come away from the wall. You can even just try to keep one foot on the wall and one leg coming away as you reach up through the leg. There it is. Yeah, nice. Breathe. Wonderful. Yeah, awesome. There it is. And your doggies, they're supporting you. Oh, that's so sweet. Good. You take your time to be there for as long as you want. Good. 1, 2. Now just don't pop up too fast. When you come down, bend down onto your knees. Yeah, there you go. And now just let your forearms come onto your chair. Good. Rest there for a moment. Yeah. Excellent. Yay, that was great. It's so fun. Yay, you did it. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Yeah, sometimes it's easier if I can see you fully, then I can kind of walk you through it. So great. Now we're going to go into a supported shoulder stance. So you're going to take your chairs out of the way, your feet up, out of the way. Okay, and some of you are already supporting yourself and you're like, I'm done. I'm feeling like I want to go into a rest. And you go up into a rest. Okay, and so I'm just taking everything off my mat. I'm pulling a little bit away from the wall because I want to have a little bit of space for my arms to go out to the side. Okay, and so you have a choice here. You can use a bolster to put underneath your pelvis. You can also do a 4-inch block. Okay, so either work. And we're going to come down and we're going to rest on our back for a moment. So those of you that are up in something else, that's fine. Just stay where you are. If you do want to come into a therapeutic version of shoulder stance, then feel free to come up with me. So arms are just going to go out to the side. Palms are going to be facing up. Let's just do a few moves here with the arms. So I'm going to do them without the strap this time, just so you can feel them. If you feel, oh, I really like the version of the strap, feel free to put your hands back into the strap. But without the strap, you want to find your feet hip width apart, outer edge of the feet, kind of lining up with the outer edge of the mat. You can choose the distance your feet is, maybe hip width or a little bit wider if you need more space in the pelvis. Let the chin find a little nodding up and down in the yes motion. Notice the space where your throat and the back of the neck feels open. Now you're just going to inhale. As the palms are down, you're going to lift the arms up, fingers point to the ceiling. As you exhale, you're just going to widen your arms a little bit, just like you're leaning out into the strap and gathering those ribs, pressing them into the floor. This is your exhalation. And then pressing into the feet, lifting the pubic bone up, letting the arms inhale up, exhale back down. And you can do that a couple times. Inhale up, exhale overhead, even widen the arms a little bit. Chin can go down towards your chest. If you lift up your pubic bone, draw your lower belly in, exhale, find that SH breath or gather your ribs. You can feel how the arms will become a little bit lighter to come up and down. And you can come inhale, up, exhale. Allow the elbows to come down into the floor. Press the feet into the floor. Reach the sit bones towards your shin. Let the back of the neck lengthen here. Just feel a little space as you rest here. And then you're going to take note. As I come down, I'm going to feel good. And I'm just going to bring my bolster a little bit closer to me because that's what I'm going to use. But if you do want to use your block, you're going to use the block at the middle height. Okay, so as you press down, let the pelvis float up. You're going to then slide the bolster or the pillow underneath the back of your pelvis. Okay, and then just rest your hips right on the bolster. Sometimes if I feel a little congestion in the lower back, I'll just press the feet down, take the hands on the lower back and sweep it down over the lower back, over the buttocks, and then replace my hips back down onto the bolster. Arms can be out to the side, palms up, taking up some space. Okay, and this is your first step. If you feel okay and you gather the upper ribs in, feel some length, you can bring one leg in, the other leg in, seeing how that feels. And then slowly you can extend one leg up and then the other leg out. You've got your legs up in the air now. Palms are up, checking if the arms want to move away from the body. Gently squeezing the shoulder blades together if you want, just to open the chest a little bit more. This is your therapeutic version of shoulder stance. Remember, if you're not used to doing inversions for too long, then you're only going to stay here for maybe 20 to 30 seconds. Those of you that feel comfortable and you want to stay here a little bit longer, feel free. Remember to come out, it's the same thing, it's just reversing, bending in one leg, then the other leg, one foot on the floor, the other foot on the floor. You can pause here. Some people like to lengthen out. Okay, so I'm going to come out just to support you, but feel free to stay there for as long as you want. Yeah, great. Once the feet come down to the floor, you can just pause there. You can press the feet into the floor and gently lift the hips up and come out. Okay, and then just check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Some of you at this point might want to just go into legs up the wall and do your wrap. I'm going to show one last variation where I am going to use the wall to go up into a fuller shoulder stance, and then also instead of using my chair, I'm going to use my feet up so that the chair is not blocking the camera. But if you do want to try the therapeutic version of having your legs coming up and over onto a chair, you can also do that. So same thing when you come and you're checking for using the wall, you want to sit at the wall, a measure once again, okay, so where my feet is, roughly where my head is going to be. Okay, and then that's when you can check in. I'll just move my feet up off to the side for a moment. This is when you can bring your blankets in. I like to use the folded edge down onto my blanket. So you want to measure, and where your feet landed is roughly where your head is landing. And you have a nice folded blanket. When you lie down, you want your shoulders to be about an inch to an inch and a half below, lining up with the top of your blanket. Your head is on the floor. When you go up into shoulder stance, you will slide up on your blanket if you're using it. And then I also like to have a chip foam block beside me. And so I'm going to put my feet up behind me so that when I come down, I can touch that into a plaid. And I'm working my way towards the blanket so that the top of my shoulders are towards the blanket. And I'm going to just pull my camera a tiny bit closer. Here we go. Okay, so I'm wiggling up to have my shoulders so they're about an inch below the very top of my blanket. You can also take that chip foam block with your feet at the wall and press your feet into the wall and lift your hips up a little bit and put the chip foam block under your pelvis. And so when you press your feet into the floor and you start to lift up, you can check in. Okay, my shoulders are sliding up towards the top of the blanket. And does that feel okay? Arms are down by your side, palms down. And as you root the feet into the wall, the pelvis comes up, arms come down. You can take your hands and touch them onto your back. And then you can just even pause here. This might just be enough. The higher you walk your hands up the back, the more support you're going to have for your hips to allow one leg to come off, walking your hands up to the shoulder blades, and the other leg to come up. Reaching up through the heels and the toes. You can stay here for as long as you want. You can bring the legs down. So I've got my feet up behind me. I really love this variation of plow. I usually like to let my hands go and my legs and my shins are just resting on the chair. So you do want to have the back of the chair out of the way, so have it turned sideways. So you don't want to try to fit your feet through the chair. Okay, and then to come out, you want to bring your hands back to the floor. A easy way is just to bring the knees towards the chest, let the head stay on the floor as you slowly roll out. If you feel, I'm just going to come up, that you're a little bit stronger and you want to try to bring the legs back up, and then reach one leg back towards the wall and then come back down. You can. I find that way a little bit more challenging, but some of you might have the strength to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna just pop out and just see, for those of you that want me to support you, if you can do full shoulder stands on the floor. Yeah, good, Christine. Then you're just gonna come up into it, hands on the back. Yeah, and just see, Christine, if you can take your fingers, spread your thumb from your fingers, and then sweep the flesh up your back. There you go. And then checking in, what does it feel like? You have your toes pointed here. What does it feel like if you just start to reach your heels up a little bit and see if that can lengthen, and then find a kind of variance between the two? Nice, Erin. Looks really great. Good, Inca. You guys are in full shoulder stance. Nice. Good, Jenny. Good. There's the wall, Erin. Yeah, it felt a little bit far away, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah, reach back. There you go. There's your wall. Good, Inca. Slowly coming down. Now, Christine, if you want to, from there, you can lower down into plow. Yeah, good. Feet can touch the floor. And when your feet touch the floor, the arms can go behind you like you're doing. You can do that interlace. You can also reach your hands up towards your feet. Another variation. And then you can feel the shoulders really trying to get underneath you to become your feet here, Christine, as you're here. Your cats are running around. They can feel your energy. Yeah. Good. Those of you that are pausing, I want you to just rest. Good. Arms behind you. Yeah, legs coming back up. Beautiful. Yeah. Coming down. See if you can, yeah, roll out with control. Okay, and you're going to check in with yourself now. What do I need to support myself? Okay. You need a little movement here. Do some of you want to go into legs up the wall or legs on the chair, or do the wrap with your blanket? It should be all set up for you. It's so beautiful, Christine. All of your cats can feel your energy from in that pose, and they're all like circling around you. It's really great.
So weird, Michelle. They were all behaving really well, and as soon as we started inversions, they all showed up.
I know, it was awesome. I saw like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, here they all come. It was so beautiful. It's funny because whenever we do certain poses that create different kinds of energy, it really sparks the animals into feeling, and they're very spunky right now. So it's kind of interesting, the energy that they're sensing off of you, because they're ripping around your room. And so just remember, when you're going into legs up the wall, you're going to sit really close to the wall and see if you can just lie straight back and then move yourself around, and see how that keeps your hips a little bit closer to the wall. Yeah. Good. There you go, Erin. Yeah. And so the blanket's around the legs, right? And then you're crossing the blanket in front of the legs, wrapping them around the back, bending the knees, tucking them in between the thighs, And then slowly tugging on the ends of the blanket as your legs lengthen up. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, Jenny, that looks great. Yes, good. And now let your arms take up space. So check in. Do my arms want to be resting on body? Good. There you go, Colleen. Some of you are bringing the arms in cactus. Some of you have them down by your side. Some of them are touching your belly. So just going to give some space here just to quiet the body and the mind. Yeah, good, Colleen. It's a little bit dark in your room, so it's harder for me to see, but it looks like you're wrapped. Yeah, there it's going around your feet. You're going to cross it in front of the legs. Yeah, yeah. So the right goes across the left leg, like across the front. Yeah, and there you go. Yeah, and then wrap them, bend your knees and wrap them around the back of your thighs. There it is. And then it goes in between your inner thighs as you tug those ends. Yeah, and then let the legs straighten. There you go. You've got it now. Beautiful. Just pausing here to feel your breath. Notice the practice that we've flowed through today, bringing your world upside down. Feel the level of body right now and your nervous system. Letting yourself fully let go in this place. So important as we find the inversion practice for ourselves, that once we feel it in our own body, then we can start teaching from this place of embodiment. So we offer from this space of something that we've put effort and time into, so that we feel comfortable being able to offer the cues and supporting others and creating this container. I'm just going to allow a couple minutes here, silence. And as you feel your body resting here in the imprint of yourself, meeting the wall, mm, meeting the floor, feeling the support of the wrap, the blanket. Thank yourself for listening to the needs of your body and mind today. And you're going to slowly awaken just by taking your time to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Might even point and flex the feet a little bit. When you're ready, for those of you that have the wrap around the legs, might slowly release that. And sometimes we need to wiggle the hips a little bit away from the wall to create some space for ourselves, or we feel comfortable just rolling to the side without wiggling away. But either way, just taking that time to find the side body fetal and just pause there. So not transitioning too quickly. And a slow arrival back into embodiment of the body, mind, and breath coming together. And when you're ready, the top arm, the hand pressing into the floor. And just coming and sitting up and noticing what you feel sitting up.